Across the sprawling savannas, dense rainforests and frozen tundras of our planet, a relentless and intricate drama unfolds, one that is rarely witnessed in its entirety. This is a world ruled not by human logic, but by the ancient, unyielding laws of survival, where every heartbeat is a calculation and every movement is a gamble. Here, life is a ceaseless test of strength, cunning, and adaptability. Each creature, no matter how small or mighty, is locked in a daily contest with the elements, with rivals, and with the ever-present shadow of hunger. From the delicate ballet of insects weaving through dew-laden grass to the thunderous migration of hooves across the plains, every moment is charged with purpose and risk. Food is never guaranteed. Territory is always contested. The right to breed is won through displays of power, endurance, and sometimes through silent, patient strategy. As darkness falls, the wild transforms. Nocturnal hunters emerge, their senses sharpened, their movements ghost-like. In the tangled undergrowth, silent battles play out, swift, brutal, and often unseen. The chase is a spectacle of raw power and split-second decisions. Every sinew, every instinct is pushed to its limit, as predator and prey engage in a deadly dance where only one can prevail. These struggles are not born of malice, but of necessity. A mother's vigilance is unwavering, her every action a shield against the dangers that lurk in every shadow. She must outwit cunning rivals, sense threats before they strike, and teach her young the subtle art of survival in a world that offers no second chances. Dominant males, meanwhile, are locked in a perpetual contest. Each display, each confrontation, a test of will and strength that determines the fate of future generations. For the hungry, every hunt is a high-stakes gamble. The hunter must blend into the landscape, reading every sign, every shift in the wind, while the hunted must anticipate the unseen, trusting in camouflage, speed, or sheer luck. The stakes are absolute, each encounter a matter of life and death, where a single misstep can mean the end of a lineage or the beginning of a feast. These outcomes ripple outward, shaping entire ecosystems. The triumphs and failures of individuals alter the very fabric of the wild, driving the relentless engine of evolution. In these epic showdowns, every adaptation is tested. Fang and claw, armor and speed, camouflage and cunning. Victory is measured in survival, defeat in silence. Our journey will take us deep into these hidden realms, following the faintest tracks and the subtlest signs to the heart of the wild's most dramatic conflicts. We will witness the bone-crushing power of jaws built for destruction, the ingenious tactics of hunters who outthink their prey, and the teamwork that turns the odds in favor of the few. From the sun-baked plains of Africa to the frozen silence of the Arctic, from tangled jungles to wind-swept deserts, every environment hosts its own unique dramas, each shaped by the creatures that call it home. We will meet the combatants, each with their own arsenal of adaptations, each driven by needs as old as time. Their stories are written in scars, in silent stares, in the tension of a poised muscle. These are not mere tales of violence, but profound demonstrations of adaptation, ingenuity, and the indomitable will to survive. Each moment a testament to the resilience that unites all life. Every encounter is a chapter in a vast, ongoing epic, a story written in the tracks on the earth, the calls in the night, and the silent struggles that shape the wild. By bearing witness to these moments, we gain a deeper understanding of the hardships and triumphs that define the lives of wild creatures. Each day a battle, each night a victory, simply to see the dawn. We see the delicate balance of power, the intricate strategies, and the ever-shifting alliances that govern the wild. A world where every decision can tip the scales between survival and oblivion. Now let us step into this world of high drama and primal conflict and meet the creatures who live on the razor's edge of existence, where every sunrise brings a new and extraordinary challenge, and every moment is a story waiting to be told. Dawn breaks over the endless grasslands of the Masai Mara, painting the savannah in hues of gold and amber. Here, Every blade of grass conceals a story of survival, and every shadow may hide a predator or prey. In this vast, untamed wilderness, two of Africa's most formidable hunters cross paths, each a master of their own domain, each driven by hunger and instinct. The lioness, recently separated from her pride to give birth, moves with a purpose honed by necessity. Her golden coat blends seamlessly with the tall grass, rendering her nearly invisible to all but the most vigilant eyes. Her quarry is a male cheetah, a creature sculpted by evolution for speed, his slender frame and long limbs built to outrun danger. Yet, today, he is alone, his brother nowhere in sight. The cheetah's plaintive calls echo across the plains, a desperate attempt to reunite with his sibling. But these sounds, meant for kin, are intercepted by the lioness's acute hearing, transforming his loneliness into vulnerability. For the lioness, this is more than a hunt. The cheetah is both a competitor for scarce resources and a potential threat to her unborn cubs. Eliminating him serves a dual purpose: nourishment and the removal of a rival. The stage is set for a confrontation that pits brute strength against lightning speed, a contest as old as the savannah itself. The lioness begins her approach with exquisite control. She lowers her body, each muscle tensed, her belly nearly brushing the earth. Every step is calculated, her paws placed with the silence of falling leaves. She employs a stop-start rhythm, freezing mid-stride whenever the cheetah glances her way. This red light, green light tactic is a masterpiece of patience, exploiting the tall grass as both shield and camouflage. When the cheetah's gaze drifts, the lioness glides forward, her movement so fluid it barely disturbs the grass. She is a shadow, a whisper on the wind. But when his head snaps back, she halts instantly, her body merging with the landscape. Her tawny fur and the dappled light render her all but invisible, even to the cheetah's keen eyes. The cheetah's vision is legendary, his eyes packed with twice as many light-sensitive cells as a lion's, able to spot the faintest flicker of movement. Yet the lioness's discipline and stealth are nearly flawless. She inches closer, every muscle coiled beneath her skin. Her breathing slows, her focus narrows to a single point. The vulnerable cheetah, still unaware of the danger closing in. The lioness knows her strengths. She cannot match the cheetah in a drawn-out chase, but her ambush is a weapon of devastating efficiency. She waits for the perfect moment, when the wind is in her favor, and the cheetah's attention is elsewhere. Suddenly the grass explodes. The lioness launches herself from cover, her acceleration astonishing for her size. The air is split by the sound of her charge. In a heartbeat she covers the final distance, her body a blur of muscle and intent. The cheetah, caught off guard, reacts a fraction too late. The difference in size is stark. The lioness outweighs the cheetah by nearly double, her bulk and strength overwhelming his slender frame. The cheetah tries to twist away, his body built for sudden bursts of speed. But the lioness's timing is perfect. She intercepts him before he can reach full stride. With a precision born of countless hunts, she clamps her jaws around his spine. Her gape, stretching to 11 inches, allows her to target the most vulnerable spot. Her canines, each 2 inches long, are engineered for this moment, designed to sever, to paralyze, to end the struggle swiftly. The cheetah's legendary speed is rendered meaningless. His struggles grow weaker as the lioness's grip tightens, her power absolute. In a final desperate burst, the cheetah manages to wrench himself free, adrenaline surging through his battered body. But the damage is catastrophic. He collapses in the grass, his body racked with pain, the savannah suddenly vast and unforgiving. His spine, the axis of his speed and agility, is shattered. The very trait that made him a master of the plains is now lost forever. The lioness, her mission complete, turns away. She has secured her future and that of her unborn cubs, leaving the injured cheetah to the harsh judgment of the wild. Later, the wounded cheetah is found by his brother. Their reunion is bittersweet. One offers comfort, but the other's fate is sealed. In the Mara, weakness is a sentence. The injured cheetah, unable to hunt or flee, faces the relentless reality of the savannah, where only the strong endure. As the sun sets, the lioness stands tall against the horizon, her victory a testament to the unforgiving balance of nature. In this world, every triumph is paid for in loss, and every predator's gain is another's tragedy. In the heart of the African wetlands, the landscape is undergoing a dramatic transformation. As the relentless dry season tightens its grip, the once vast expanse of water recedes, leaving behind only isolated pockets of muddy pools. These shrinking oases become the last refuge for countless animals, but none are more affected than the hippopotamuses. Forced by the drought, dozens of hippos are crammed into a single, rapidly diminishing waterhole. The thick, viscous mud is churned by their massive bodies, and the air is heavy with the scent of wet earth and animal musk. Each hippo jostles for space, desperate to keep their sensitive skins submerged and protected from the harsh sun. In these suffocatingly close quarters, tempers flare. The hippos, usually tolerant of one another in more abundant times, now find themselves in constant competition for every inch of cool, muddy water. The tension is palpable, with frequent shoves, grunts, and splashes echoing across the wetland. Presiding over this crowded chaos is the dominant bull. He makes his presence unmistakable, using a signature display of power, flinging dung in wide arcs with his rapidly spinning tail. This act is more than just a territorial marker. It is a bold declaration of his authority, a warning to all that he alone controls this precious resource. The bull's open-mouthed displays, revealing his enormous tusks, serve as further deterrents. His deep bellows reverberate through the water, a low-frequency threat that signals his readiness to defend his position at any cost. Yet among the crowd, a younger male watches intently. His body language is tense, his gaze unwavering. He is driven by ambition and the promise of dominance, sensing that the old bull's grip on power may be slipping in these desperate times. The stage is set for a dramatic confrontation. The two bulls lock eyes, their massive forms rising from the mud, muscles tensed and ready. The pod falls silent, every hippo acutely aware that the outcome will determine the fate of the group. The challenger advances, undeterred by the dominant bull's aggressive posturing. He moves with purpose, his confidence growing as he closes the distance, ignoring the swirling dung and the thunderous vocalizations. Suddenly the two titans collide. Their immense jaws snap open, exposing lethal canines that can crush bone with ease. The water erupts in a frenzy of splashing and biting, each hippo using its bulk and strength to overpower the other. Despite their seemingly docile appearance, hippos are equipped with some of the most formidable jaws in the animal kingdom. Their mouths gape nearly 180 degrees, revealing a terrifying arsenal of teeth. Their jaw muscles are incredibly powerful, capable of delivering a bite force that can shatter bone and tear flesh. Each bite is a calculated attempt to inflict maximum damage. Inside their cavernous mouths, 28 molars and premolars, each nearly 2 inches long, are perfectly adapted for grinding tough vegetation. But in battle, they become weapons of destruction. The fight is a maelstrom of violence. Water churns and mud flies as the bulls lunge and twist, their gaping jaws clashing with thunderous force. Each seeks to outmaneuver the other, using both brute strength and tactical precision. The younger bull is relentless, his attacks fueled by youthful vigor and the drive to prove himself. He charges again and again, testing the old bull's endurance and resolve. Sensing an opportunity, the challenger targets a vulnerable spot, the tail. In hippo society, a tail injury is not only physically debilitating but also a humiliating blow to status. With a sudden, explosive movement, the young bull clamps his jaws around the dominant bull's tail. The force is immense, and in a shocking display of raw power, he bites it clean off, sending a spray of blood and muddy water into the air. The pain is excruciating. The old leader, now grievously wounded, flees the waterhole, his authority shattered. On land, he is exposed and vulnerable, his injury a stark symbol of his defeat. The challenger does not relent. He pursues the wounded bull, biting at the open wound, ensuring that his rival is thoroughly vanquished and that no challenge to his dominance remains. The entire pod bears witness to this brutal spectacle. Each member, from the smallest calf to the oldest female, observes the outcome, their social order forever altered by the violence of the encounter. In a final, unmistakable act of dominance, the victorious young bull mounts the defeated elder. This gesture is a clear, unambiguous signal to all. A new leader now reigns over the pod. The vanquished bull, bloodied and broken, is forced to abandon the waterhole. His reign has ended, and he must now face the dangers of the savannah alone. The new leader stands tall among the pod, his victory granting him exclusive access to the limited water and the right to mate with the females. His dominance is absolute, at least until the next challenger emerges. This intense and violent struggle is a stark reminder of the harsh realities of life in the wild. In times of scarcity, the competition for survival becomes a ruthless contest of strength, strategy, and willpower, where only the most formidable can hope to prevail. In the emerald heart of northern India, where sunlight filters through ancient sal trees and the air is thick with the scent of damp earth, a Bengal tigress has nurtured 3 daughters. For nearly 2 years, these cubs have been her shadow, learning to stalk, to pounce, to read the subtle language of the forest. Their days are filled with the soft rustle of leaves, the distant calls of peafowl, and the ever-present watchfulness of their mother. Under her vigilant gaze, the sisters have honed their skills through endless games of chase and mock combat, each lesson a rehearsal for the unforgiving realities of adulthood. The forest is both their playground and their classroom, every shadow a potential threat, every sound a lesson in survival. But as the cubs approach maturity, a subtle shift takes place. The playful nips and swats of youth are replaced by lingering stares and stiff postures. The air between them grows charged, as if the very forest can sense the coming storm. The larger sister, her muscles rippling beneath her striped coat, begins to assert herself. She lingers at the boundaries of their mother's territory, scent-marking trees and patrolling trails with a confidence that signals her intent. Her ambition is clear. To inherit this patchwork of forest and grassland, she must drive her siblings away. The games of childhood are over. Now every encounter is a test of strength and resolve. The once cohesive family unit begins to fracture. The sisters, once inseparable, now move with caution around each other, their interactions tinged with suspicion and unease. The mother, sensing the inevitable, grows distant, her role as protector giving way to the harsh demands of nature. The smallest sister, always the most cautious, becomes the focus of the eldest's ambition. She lingers at the periphery, her movements tentative, her eyes constantly scanning for signs of danger, not from the outside world but from within her own family. One humid afternoon, the smallest cub finds a rare moment of peace. She dozes in a patch of filtered sunlight, her body sprawled on the cool earth, belly exposed, a posture that speaks of trust but also of vulnerability. In the wild, such vulnerability is a luxury few can afford. The exposed underbelly is a map of vital organs, a target for any predator or rival willing to take advantage. The eldest sister, now a formidable 370 pounds of muscle and instinct, moves with predatory intent. Her paws make no sound on the leaf litter as she closes the distance, her golden eyes fixed on her unsuspecting sibling. This is no longer a contest of play. The air vibrates with anticipation, every muscle coiled, every sense heightened. The forest itself seems to hold its breath. The eldest's eyes narrow, her whiskers twitching as she calculates the perfect moment to strike. The tension is palpable, a silent battle of wills played out in the dappled light. But the smallest sister is not defenseless. In a heartbeat, her eyes snap open, pupils dilated with alarm. Instinct overrides sleep, and she surges to her feet, every muscle primed for survival. Though outsized, she is no less a tiger, her reflexes honed by months of practice, her spirit unbroken. She faces her sister with a low growl, ears flattened, tail lashing in warning. In a blur of motion, she launches herself forward, transforming fear into aggression. The forest erupts with the sound of snarls and the thud of powerful bodies colliding. Her forelimbs, tipped with razor-sharp claws, strike with bone-crushing force. Tools evolved for dispatching prey, now turned against her own blood. The sisters become a blur of orange and black, their roars echoing through the trees. The violence is brief but absolute, a primal test of strength and will. The smallest sister's ferocity is unexpected. She counters with a speed and determination that momentarily stuns her attacker, shifting the balance of power in an instant. Her defensive posture is a declaration. She will not yield, not even to her own kin. The raw emotion in her eyes is unmistakable, a mix of fear, anger, and heartbreak. The eldest, caught off guard by the intensity of the resistance, hesitates. For a moment the drive for dominance is tempered by uncertainty, and she retreats, her claim left unfulfilled. No blood is drawn, but the damage is done. The invisible thread that once bound them as sisters is severed, replaced by a cold, wary distance. The family unit dissolves, each tiger now charting her own path through the labyrinth of the jungle. Their shared past lingers only in memory and scent. From this day forward, they are no longer sisters, but rivals, each a solitary force, shaped by the same blood, but divided by the unyielding laws of the wild. In the end, the forest reclaims its silence. The lesson is clear. In this world, the drive to survive and carve out a territory of one's own is stronger than even the deepest familial bond. The breaking of the tigress's bond is not just a story of loss, but a testament to the relentless, beautiful, and sometimes brutal reality of life in the wild. Along the rugged, wind-battered coastline of Alaska, a colossal grizzly bear lumbers across the pebbled shore, his dense fur rippling in the cold, salty breeze. The air is thick with the scent of brine and decaying kelp, and the rhythmic crash of waves echoes against the distant snow-capped mountains. Amidst the scattered driftwood and seaweed, the bear stumbles upon a monumental prize, a massive whale carcass, its pale flesh exposed to the elements, washed ashore by the relentless tides. This is a rare and extraordinary windfall in the wild, a feast that could sustain a bear for weeks. Driven by hunger and instinct, the grizzly circles the carcass, his nose twitching as he assesses the bounty. Each movement is deliberate, his powerful muscles shifting beneath a thick layer of fat and fur, built for survival in this unforgiving environment. With winter's shadow looming, the bear must gorge himself, devouring thousands of calories each day to build the insulating fat reserves that will see him through months of hibernation. He tears into the blubber with astonishing force, his jaws and teeth perfectly adapted for ripping through tough, fatty tissue. Whale blubber is a nutritional goldmine, packed with energy, nearly 3 times as calorically dense as the richest cream. The bear's muzzle glistens with oil as he chews, savoring every mouthful, his eyes alert for any sign of competition. This abundance is fiercely coveted. The grizzly plants himself over the carcass, his massive frame casting a long shadow across the sand and stones. He stands as an unyielding sentinel, the undisputed ruler of this temporary kingdom, every muscle tensed in anticipation of challenges. For a brief moment, the bear relaxes, sprawling beside his prize. His breathing slows, and he surveys the shoreline with a measured calm, displaying a rare tolerance in the presence of such abundance. A female grizzly, smaller and lighter in color, approaches with her cub trailing close behind. The dominant male allows them to feed, his tolerance extending only to those who pose no threat to his supremacy. The cub, still clumsy and wide-eyed, mimics its mother, learning the ways of survival on this harsh coast. Suddenly, the tranquil scene is disrupted. Another large male, his coat dark and matted from the sea, strides purposefully toward the carcass, his posture radiating aggression and intent. The newcomer wastes no time, charging at the mother and her cub with a guttural roar. He snaps his jaws and swipes the sand, sending a clear message. This meal is not for sharing. The original bear's eyes narrow, his attention now fixed on the intruder. Every muscle in his body tenses, his hackles raised in silent warning. He steps forward, placing himself squarely between the carcass and the challenger, asserting his dominance with a low, rumbling growl that vibrates through the air. The confrontation is immediate and electric. Both bears stand tall, their massive forms silhouetted against the churning sea, each unwilling to yield. The original Grizzly, now the self-appointed guardian of the feast, locks eyes with the aggressive newcomer. The tension is palpable, the outcome uncertain. With a sudden surge, he rises onto his hind legs, towering above his rival. His immense size and thick fur make him appear even more formidable, a living wall of muscle and determination. This is a classic threat display, an attempt to resolve the dispute without bloodshed. The bear's deep, resonant growls and swaying stance are meant to intimidate, not invite combat. But the challenger is undeterred. He advances, his own growls echoing across the rocks, signaling that he will not back down easily. The standoff erupts into violence. The two bears clash with explosive force, their roars mingling with the roar of the surf as they grapple and bite, each determined to claim the prize. In a decisive moment, the original bear lunges, his jaws clamping down on his rival's face with bone-crushing power. The bite is both a weapon and a warning, designed to end the conflict swiftly. The challenger recoils, bloodied and shaken. The pain and shock force him to retreat, his dominance broken for now. Victorious, the original bear stands alone once more, his breath steaming in the cold air as he surveys the now empty shoreline. The whale carcass is his again, a testament to his strength and resolve. He resumes feeding, tearing into the blubber with renewed vigor, every bite a hard-won reward in the relentless struggle for survival. These dramatic encounters reveal the intricate social dynamics that emerge even among these typically solitary giants. Each bear must constantly weigh the risks and rewards of confrontation, tolerance, and retreat. While a dominant bear may tolerate the presence of cubs or non-threatening individuals, any challenge from a rival of equal strength is met with uncompromising aggression and raw power. In this wild, untamed landscape, every calorie counts. For the grizzly, there is no room for mercy or sharing with equals, only the relentless drive to survive another Alaskan winter. Dawn breaks over the vast African savanna, painting the grasslands gold as a formidable bachelor group of African buffalo makes its way across the open plains. The air is thick with the scent of trampled grass and the low, rumbling calls of the herd, each animal moving with a sense of purpose and tension. At the forefront strides a dominant bull, his massive frame cutting a path through the sea of bodies. He is not just a leader by chance. His every movement radiates authority, his senses perpetually alert to threats both within and beyond the herd. Years of hard-fought battles have left their mark on his hide and horns, each scar a testament to his resilience. His sheer size and the confidence in his stance command respect from every member of the group, granting him first access to water, grazing, and the best resting spots. An adult male buffalo is a living fortress, standing over 5 feet at the shoulder and weighing upwards of 1,900 pounds more than a Spanish fighting bull. His muscles ripple beneath a hide toughened by years of conflict and survival. Yet, even for such a titan, leadership is never guaranteed. The herd is a crucible of ambition, and every male is a potential rival, watching for any sign of weakness. Among them, a younger bull, his coat still bearing the sheen of youth, steps forward. His eyes burn with the restless energy of ambition, and today he dares to challenge the old boss for the right to lead. The herd senses the shift in the air. A circle forms, the other buffalo giving space as the two rivals face off, muscles tensed, horns lowered in a silent declaration of war. The clash is thunderous, horn against horn, bone against bone. The sound echoes across the plains, a primal drumbeat of power and defiance. This is a contest of raw strength and unyielding will. Each bull digs in, muscles straining as they drive against one another, neither willing to yield an inch. The struggle is relentless, a brutal ballet of shoves, feints, and sudden bursts of power. The herd watches, silent but tense, knowing the outcome will shape their future. In the heat of battle, the younger bull falters, his footing lost for a split second, his flank exposed to danger. For a heartbeat, he turns his back, a fatal lapse in a contest where every second counts. In the unforgiving world of buffalo, such a mistake is an open invitation for a devastating counterattack. The old bull, seasoned by countless battles, recognizes the opportunity instantly. He wastes no time, launching himself at the exposed challenger. The boss lunges, his horns aimed with deadly precision. His first strike glances off, missing its mark, but his reflexes are razor-sharp. He pivots, refusing to let the moment slip away. With astonishing agility for such a massive beast, he delivers a punishing uppercut, his horns slamming into the challenger's neck with bone-jarring force. He follows with a brutal blow to the eye, a move designed to blind and disorient, further tipping the balance in his favor. Each strike is calculated not just to injure, but to break the challenger's spirit. The younger bull reels, battered and bewildered, his confidence shattered. The cost of inexperience is steep. Bloodied and exhausted, the challenger's will to fight crumbles beneath the relentless assault. Broken and overwhelmed, the young bull withdraws, his body marked by defeat. The herd stands witness, the old order reaffirmed. The victor drives his rival from the group, a final, humiliating expulsion that cements his dominance for all to see. The old bull stands tall, his breath heaving, his horns gleaming in the morning sun. His reign endures, a testament to the power of experience and the unforgiving nature of life on the savannah. This battle is more than brute force. It is a lesson in strategy, timing, and the high stakes of leadership in the wild. Every member of the herd takes note, for one day they too may be called to fight for their place. In the harsh politics of buffalo society, a single misstep can mean exile and solitude. For the defeated, the endless savannah awaits, a stark reminder that in this world only the strongest and the wisest endure. Deep within the tangled undergrowth of a Philippine jungle, the air is thick with humidity and the scent of decay. Drawn by the irresistible aroma of a fresh carcass, a young water monitor lizard slinks through the leaf litter, his tongue flicking rapidly to taste the air for any sign of danger or opportunity. For this juvenile reptile, every meal is a battle for survival. His slender frame betrays his youth, and hunger gnaws at his belly. The promise of protein-rich flesh is a rare chance to fuel his growth and secure his place in this unforgiving ecosystem. But as he edges closer, the young lizard freezes. The feast is not his alone to claim. Two colossal adult water monitors, their scales glistening with moisture, have already staked their claim to the carcass. The adults, each a living relic of prehistoric power, stand guard over the remains. Their bodies are tense, muscles rippling beneath thick, armored skin, eyes narrowed in warning. They are not inclined to share, and their presence radiates menace. These giants can reach lengths of over 9 feet and tip the scales at 55 pounds, dwarfing the young interloper. Their sheer size and strength make them the undisputed titans of this patch of jungle. Instead of feeding, the adults are locked in a brutal contest of dominance. Their bodies coil and twist, claws raking the earth as they grapple for control of the prize. In a display rarely witnessed, the two monitors rear up on their hind legs, their chests pressed together in a reptilian duel. They sway and shove, each trying to topple the other, their movements both graceful and violent. Their tails, long and muscular, become living whips, lashing out with bone-jarring force. Each strike echoes through the undergrowth, a warning to any would-be scavenger. Jaws snap and teeth flash as the rivals bite and wrestle, their scales scraping together in a cacophony of aggression. This is not just a fight for food, but a battle for territory and status. The young lizard, hidden in the shadows, watches intently. The chaos of the adults' struggle presents a fleeting window of opportunity, a chance to snatch a meal while the giants are distracted. Driven by hunger and desperation, he steels himself for a dangerous gamble. Every instinct screams caution, but the need to eat outweighs the fear of reprisal. With painstaking slowness, he creeps forward, belly pressed low to the ground, eyes darting between the battling adults and the exposed flesh of the carcass. Each step is a test of nerve and skill as the jungle's sounds fade beneath the pounding of his heart. Suddenly, the fight pauses. The young lizard freezes, his body rigid with fear. The gamble has failed, he has been noticed. Both adult monitors turn their heads in unison, their forked tongues flickering as they lock onto the intruder. The air crackles with tension. Instantly, their rivalry is forgotten. The presence of a weaker competitor unites them in a single ruthless purpose: to drive out the thief and reassert their dominance. With terrifying speed, the adults lunge at the young lizard, their aggression now focused and merciless. The young lizard is caught in a blur of claws and teeth. The attack is swift, the violence overwhelming. One of the adults clamps its powerful jaws around the juvenile's forelimb, the bone snapping with a sickening crunch. The pain is immediate and excruciating. The young lizard's bold attempt has ended in disaster. His forelimb hangs useless, twisted and broken, a permanent reminder of the cost of risk in the wild. Yet even in agony, the lizard's will to survive burns bright. His eyes remain alert, scanning for any chance of escape. With a desperate burst of energy, he wriggles free from the adult's grasp, adrenaline overriding pain as he flees. He drags his shattered limb across the forest floor, moving as quickly as his battered body will allow, every movement a struggle against agony. Reaching the muddy riverbank, he plunges into the water. His powerful tail, uninjured and muscular, becomes his salvation, propelling him through the current toward the safety of a nearby island. Exhausted and battered, the young lizard hauls himself onto the far bank. He pauses, sides heaving, every sense alert for further threats. He has survived, but the jungle's dangers are far from over. Back at the carcass, the adult monitors resume their dominance, their size and power reaffirmed. The brutal hierarchy of the wild is on full display. Strength and aggression rule, and the weak pay dearly for their ambition. In this world, even fierce rivals will unite against a common weaker challenger. The young lizard's gamble has ended in pain, but his story is a testament to the relentless struggle for survival that defines life in the wild. The relentless struggle for survival and dominance is not confined to the earth beneath our feet. In the boundless skies and the mysterious depths of the ocean, animal contestants engage in fierce, high-stakes battles for territory, mates, and the right to continue their lineage. High above the bustling city of St. Louis, Missouri, a silent war rages in the treetops. Here the air is thick with tension as birds compete for the most coveted nesting sites, each branch a potential battleground. A northern flicker, its plumage dappled with gold and crimson, chips away at the heartwood of an old oak. Every strike of its beak echoes with purpose, carving out a sanctuary for its future brood. But the flicker is not alone. Nearby, a pair of European starlings, glossy, iridescent, and ever watchful, perch in the shadows, their sharp eyes fixed on the woodpecker's progress. These starlings are infamous for their cunning and audacity. Rather than build their own nests, they specialize in commandeering the homes of others, turning patience and opportunism into a ruthless art. The moment the woodpecker departs in search of food, the female starling seizes her chance. With a flash of wings, she darts into the freshly carved cavity, staking her claim in a matter of seconds. When the woodpecker returns, he finds his labor stolen, his sanctuary invaded. His agitation is palpable, feathers bristling as he confronts the intruder. A violent struggle erupts within the narrow confines of the nest hole. The flicker lunges at the starling, his beak a blur of motion as he tries to reclaim what is rightfully his. Instantly, the male starling joins the fray, transforming the contest into a chaotic 2-against-1 melee. Wings beat furiously, and shrill cries pierce the air as the trio battles for control. The male starling, smaller but agile, locks onto the woodpecker with surprising strength, using his own beak as a grappling hook in the struggle for dominance. In a calculated move, he clamps down on the woodpecker's beak, rendering the powerful tool useless and neutralizing the flicker's greatest advantage. Ordinarily, the woodpecker's beak is a marvel of nature, capable of hammering 20 times per second, a force that can shatter bark and bone alike. But now, with his weapon immobilized, the flicker is at the mercy of his adversaries. The starlings, relentless and united, press their advantage. Their teamwork and persistence begin to wear down the larger solitary woodpecker, shifting the balance of power. At last, the flicker is forced to retreat, driven away by the starlings' unyielding assault. The victors claim the nest, their triumph a testament to the power of cooperation and cunning in the avian world. Far from the treetops, beneath the shimmering surface of a tropical sea, another contest unfolds, one shaped by ancient instincts and the ever-present threat of danger. In the crystal-clear waters, a female green sea turtle glides gracefully, her shell dappled with sunlight. She is accompanied by a determined male, drawn to her by the subtle signals of her presence. As the pair locks together in a delicate embrace, the female's pheromones drift through the currents, attracting a swarm of rival males from the surrounding reef. The newcomers, driven by the primal urge to reproduce, descend upon the couple in a frenzied assault. Flippers clash and shells collide in a swirling underwater melee. The rival males bite and grapple at the mating male's exposed flippers, their serrated jaws inflicting sharp, stinging pain with every snap. Though sea turtles lack true teeth, their powerful jaws can still deliver punishing bites, each one a calculated attempt to dislodge the mating male and seize the opportunity for themselves. The water churns with chaos as the struggle intensifies. For the female, the danger is not just from the aggression of the males, but from the mounting risk of suffocation. The relentless mob pushes the entwined pair deeper and deeper, away from the life-giving surface. Every second below increases the peril as oxygen becomes ever more precious. Sea turtles, though masters of the ocean, are still bound to the air above. Every 5 minutes they must break the surface to breathe or risk drowning in the very world they call home. The female, now pinned beneath her 350-pound mate and the weight of the other males, faces a desperate struggle for survival. Summoning every ounce of her strength, she beats her powerful flippers against the water, propelling herself and her mate upward through the writhing mass of rivals. With a final surge, the pair bursts through the crowd, breaking the surface in a spray of foam. Gasping for air, they escape the mob's grasp, their victory a testament to resilience and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. In the air and in the sea, the contest for life never ends, each battle shaping the destiny of those who dare to compete. The epic showdowns we have witnessed, like the crushing bite of a lioness in the golden savannah, are not merely spectacles of violence, but windows into the intricate machinery of life itself. The desperate struggle of a sea turtle against the relentless pull of the ocean and the jaws of a predator is a testament to the ceaseless contest that defines existence in the wild. These encounters are the purest expressions of the will to survive, a force that shapes every sinew, every instinct, and every fleeting moment in the animal kingdom. Each conflict, whether over a scrap of food, a patch of territory, or the right to pass on one's genes, reveals the immense pressures that drive evolution forward. These are not battles of morality, but of necessity, where every decision, every movement is weighed by the unforgiving calculus of survival. In these contests, the outcome is not just a matter of life and death, but of legacy, determining which traits will echo into the future. The grizzly bear, fiercely defending his winter feast, embodies the raw determination required to endure the harshest seasons. The starling, cunningly stealing a nest, demonstrates that survival is as much about strategy and opportunity as it is about strength. These raw encounters reveal the astonishing diversity of adaptations, beaks shaped for chiseling, claws honed for gripping, camouflage that renders a creature invisible in plain sight. The cheetah's explosive speed, measured in heartbeats, is pitted against the lion's patient stealth, each a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. The hippo's brute force collides with the buffalo's collective defense, illustrating that power can be wielded alone or multiplied through unity. The woodpecker's specialized beak, evolved for relentless drilling, stands in contrast to the starling's cooperative ingenuity, each a different answer to the same question of survival. Every animal is equipped with a unique arsenal: claws, teeth, beaks, or wits, refined by countless generations of trial and error. In the crucible of confrontation, these tools are tested to their limits, and only the most effective endure. Strength, we learn, is not always measured in size or muscle. Sometimes it is the audacity of the small that tips the balance. Sometimes it is the gift of speed, a fleeting burst that means the difference between life and death. Sometimes it is intelligence, the ability to solve problems, to adapt, to outthink a rival or a threat. And often it is sheer persistence, the refusal to yield even when the odds seem insurmountable. These stories, told in the language of tooth and claw, reveal a world of astonishing complexity, where every action ripples through the web of life. Sometimes what appears to us as cruelty is, in truth, the impartial hand of nature maintaining its balance. The tigress turning on her sister, the sudden violence of kin against kin, is a stark reminder that competition is woven into the very fabric of existence. The clash of giant lizards, the relentless pursuit of dominance, exposes the harsh realities that govern life where resources are scarce. In a world where water, food, and shelter are finite, conflict is not an aberration, but an inevitability. Yet even in the midst of brutality, there is an underlying order, a rhythm to the chaos, a balance that sustains the whole. These struggles, fierce and unrelenting, are the invisible threads that hold ecosystems together, ensuring that no single species dominates unchecked. The strongest and most adaptable pass on their legacy, not just through brute force, but through nurturing, learning, and adapting to change. Over the vast canvas of geological time, these lessons are etched in stone and bone, shaping the destiny of entire lineages. To witness these raw, unfiltered moments is to glimpse the relentless engine of life, untamed, unsentimental, and magnificent. Though we may observe from afar, the lessons are clear. In nature, survival is earned anew each day, and every creature is both challenger and challenged. The daily search for food, the constant vigilance, the quiet moments of rest, all are part of a cycle as old as life itself. And yet amid the struggle, there is hope. Each sunrise brings new beginnings, each newborn a fragile promise to the future. The dramas of the bone crushers, the lightning-fast sprinters, and the masterful strategists are chapters in a story that spans continents and millennia. Each struggle, each adaptation, is a thread in the vast tapestry of life, unique, irreplaceable, and endlessly fascinating. These encounters are a testament to resilience and ingenuity, proof that life, in all its forms, is defined by its ability to overcome. The enduring spirit of nature is revealed in every animal that rises after a fall, in every adaptation that turns adversity into opportunity. In the quiet dawn, as the wild world stirs, we are reminded that life's greatest lessons are written not in words, but in the raw, unyielding beauty of nature's eternal struggle. Gap 2s. In the murky embrace of a slow-moving river, where shafts of sunlight barely penetrate the greenish depths, a silent predator waits. The crocodile, ancient, armored, and motionless, lies submerged just beneath the surface, its nostrils and eyes barely breaking the waterline. Here, patience is the deadliest weapon, honed over millions of years. The riverbank is alive with activity. Herds of wildebeest and zebra gather, their hooves churning the mud as they jostle for a place at the water's edge. Thirst overrides caution, but the instinctive unease remains. Egrets tiptoe across the backs of grazing buffalo, snatching insects disturbed by the commotion. Fish dart in shimmering schools, scattering from the shadow of the lurking giant below. A crocodile's ambush is a study in restraint. Its mottled skin blends seamlessly with the silt and reeds, rendering it invisible to all but the most vigilant. It controls its buoyancy with subtle shifts of its lungs, drifting without a ripple. Not a muscle moves, except for the slow, almost imperceptible flicker of a nictitating membrane across the eye, keeping its vision clear. The target, a young antelope, hesitant and unaware, edges closer, lowering its head to drink. The crocodile senses the vibrations through its jaw, reading the world in low-frequency tremors. In the split second between safety and oblivion, the river explodes. With astonishing speed, the crocodile launches upward, jaws agape, water cascading from its armored head. Its tail propels it forward in a burst of raw power, closing the distance in a heartbeat. The antelope has no time to react. The crocodile's jaws clamp shut with bone-crushing force, teeth locking in a vice that has ended countless lives. What follows is a display of unique predatory behavior, the death roll. The crocodile spins its massive body, churning the water into a frothing cauldron. This violent twist wrenches prey from the riverbank, disorienting and disabling it in seconds. Other crocodiles, drawn by the commotion, converge in a silent, sinister ballet. There is no competition, only the unspoken understanding of opportunity. Each reptile claims a share, tearing flesh with a sideways thrash of the head. Above, kingfishers and herons stand motionless, waiting for scraps. The river returns to stillness as if nothing has happened. The crocodile sinks back beneath the surface, a silent shadow once more. In this hidden world, the rules are simple and absolute. The crocodile's ambush is not just a feat of brute strength, but of perfect timing and unparalleled patience. It is a reminder that, in the wild, survival depends on the ability to wait, to strike, and to vanish, leaving only ripples in the water and the echo of a struggle unseen. In the open grasslands beneath a bruised dawn sky, a different kind of predator emerges. A pack of African wild dogs, lean and mottled, their oversized ears swiveling at every sound. Where brute strength and solitary stealth have ruled before, these hunters rely on something else: unity, communication, and relentless endurance. The pack fans out, each member assuming its role as if guided by an invisible conductor. Their social bonds are as vital as their speed. A chorus of high-pitched yips and whines maintains cohesion, transmitting subtle cues across the shifting formation. Every individual is attuned to the others, reading flicks of tails and glances, adjusting their pace, their direction, their very breathing to the collective rhythm. Ahead, a herd of impala grazes, scattered and alert. The wild dogs do not charge blindly. Instead, they select a target, a young male on the periphery, momentarily separated from the rest. With a sudden burst, the lead dog initiates the chase, but it is not a solo sprint. The pack flows around obstacles, splitting and rejoining with practiced precision, each member anticipating the impala's next move. The landscape becomes a chessboard. Some dogs circle wide, herding the impala toward waiting jaws. Others cut off escape routes, driving the prey into open ground where stamina, not speed, decides the outcome. They run in relays, cycling to the front, allowing the tired to fall back and recover while the fresh press on. This is endurance hunting at its finest, a marathon, not a sprint. As the impala's strength wanes, the dogs close in, their coordination reaching a fever pitch. There is no chaos here, only calculated efficiency. One dog darts in, nipping at the heels, steering the impala toward another who lunges from the side. The final takedown is swift, merciful in its certainty. But the hunt is not over when the prey falls. The pack regroups in a tight circle, each member taking its share, from the alpha to the smallest pup. There is no squabbling, no dominance displays, only the quiet gratitude of a family sustained. The older dogs nudge morsels toward the young, the sick, the nursing mothers, their social contract as binding as any law of nature. Above, vultures spiral in anticipation, but for now, the wild dogs are unchallenged. Their hunt is a testament to the power of cooperation, a living symphony conducted by instinct and reinforced by unbreakable bonds. In a world where survival often means solitude, the wild dog thrives together, each heartbeat echoing the pulse of the pack, each hunt a masterpiece of strategy and trust. And as the sun climbs higher, painting the grasslands gold, the wild dogs melt into the waving savanna, their story written in dust paw prints and the silent understanding that together they are unstoppable. High above the tree line, where the air thins and the world narrows to stone and sky, a solitary figure moves with spectral grace. The snow leopard, phantom of the mountains, navigates a realm shaped by ice, wind, and vertigo. Her pale, dappled coat mirrors the fractured shadows of the crags, rendering her nearly invisible against the shifting snowfields and lichen-streaked rocks. Here, silence is her greatest ally. The snow leopard's hunt is a lesson in patience and precision. Unlike the packs of the plains, she stalks alone, each decision a solitary calculation. Her wide, fur-lined paws spread her weight, allowing her to tread silently across powdery drifts and knife-edged ridges. Every muscle flexes in slow concert, conserving precious energy in this unforgiving altitude. Below, a herd of blue sheep, parle, graze on a precarious ledge, their senses sharpened by a lifetime of danger. The snow leopard waits, motionless, for hours. Her tail, thick as a rope and nearly as long as her body, coils behind her, aiding balance and warmth. The wind shifts, carrying her scent away from her quarry. She inches forward, belly pressed flat to the cold stone. The terrain itself is an adversary. A single misstep could send hunter and hunted tumbling into the abyss. The snow leopard's hind legs, powerful springs honed by generations, tense in preparation. She calculates distance and trajectory, not with her eyes alone, but with every fibre attuned to the mountain's rhythm. Suddenly, she explodes from her cover in a blur of muscle and fur. The farrel scatter, but the snow leopard's pursuit is a controlled fall, bounding down near vertical slopes, leaping from outcrop to outcrop with breathtaking agility. Her long tail acts as a rudder, correcting mid-air, her claws digging deep into the frozen earth. The chase is brief, brutal, and silent. In the thin air there is no room for error. A well-timed swipe, a powerful bite, and the struggle ends. The snow leopard drags her prize to a secluded nook, hidden from scavengers and the relentless wind. She eats alone, but not in loneliness. This is the way of the high country, where solitude is survival and mastery of the elements is the ultimate test. As dusk bleeds into starlight, the snow leopard vanishes once more, her presence betrayed only by a faint dusting of paw prints and the echoing call of the wind. In the kingdom of stone and snow she reigns unseen, a silent ghost shaped by the mountains themselves. Far from the reach of sunlight, in the endless blue where land is but a memory, another master predator patrols its domain. The great white shark, sleek, ancient and perfectly adapted, moves through the open ocean with an effortless power that belies the tension coiled within every muscle. Here, in a realm without boundaries, the rules are written in speed and silence. The shark's senses are a marvel of evolution. Electroreceptors dot its snout, reading the faintest electric signals of life pulsing through the water. Its nostrils taste the current for the subtle trace of blood, while eyes, unblinking and cold, scan the shifting patterns of light and shadow far above. On this day, a lone seal glides near the surface, basking in the sun's warmth, unaware of the silent threat below. The shark circles far beneath, a ghostly silhouette against the dim blue gloom. It waits, calculating. In this vast emptiness, patience is a predator's most valuable ally. The shark's tail, a crescent of raw muscle, propels it upward in slow, deliberate sweeps. It ascends, using the ocean's thermoclines to mask its approach, a master of three-dimensional stealth. Every heartbeat is measured, every movement precise, as it draws nearer to the unsuspecting prey. Suddenly, the seal senses a shift, a flicker of movement, a tremor in the water. But by the time alertness blooms, It is already too late. The great white erupts from the depths in a burst of speed, jaws wide, rows of serrated teeth flashing in the filtered sunlight. The ocean explodes into chaos, spray, foam, and a flurry of desperate motion. The struggle is swift and decisive. The shark's bite is a force honed by millennia, designed to incapacitate with brutal efficiency. The seal's fight is valiant but brief, ended by a final, crushing grip. As the water settles, the shark claims its reward, circling back to consume its hard-won meal. Scavengers, shadowy fish and opportunistic birds hover at a respectful distance, awaiting their share. But for now, the great white reigns supreme, the undisputed apex of this watery world. Beneath the waves, life and death are balanced on a razor's edge, and every pursuit is a testament to nature's relentless artistry. The shark drifts away, blood and salt swirling in its wake, fading once again into the boundless blue, a living legend shaped by the vast and silent ocean. In the frozen heart of the northern wilds, where snow muffles every sound and the wind cuts like glass, a wolf pack threads its way through a world made of ice and shadow. Here, survival is not just a test of strength or speed, but of unity, an ancient pact that binds each animal to the other, weaving them into a single, living organism. The pack moves with purpose, their paws barely breaking the crust of snow that blankets the forest floor. Every breath steams in the frigid air, nostrils flaring as they scent the wind for the faintest trace of prey. Hunger is a constant companion. The wolves' ribs show beneath their thick winter pelts, but their eyes burn with focus, never wavering from the task at hand. At the center, the alpha pair lead with quiet authority. Their body language is a silent language all its own, a flick of an ear, a low growl, a brush of fur, guiding the younger wolves and keeping the group tight-knit. Each member knows their place. The pack's survival depends on this unspoken order. In deep winter, prey is scarce and the days are short. The wolves rely on strategies honed by countless generations. They fan out at dawn, spreading through the silent woods, their tracks weaving patterns in the snow. A sudden pause. One wolf lifts his head, ears pricked. The distant rustle of hooves, elk perhaps, or a lone deer weakened by the cold. The pack regroups, silent and invisible, melting through the trees as one. The hunt is a choreography of patience and precision. The wolves use the terrain, herding their quarry toward deep drifts or icy slopes, where even the strongest legs can falter. When the moment comes, they surge forward, a burst of speed, snow flying, muscles straining in perfect synchrony. It is not brute force that wins the day, but teamwork. The lead wolves harry and distract, while others flank and drive the prey into ambush. Even in failure, the pack wastes nothing. Each missed opportunity is a lesson, each trail followed a thread in the tapestry of survival. When the hunt is successful, the feast is communal. The alphas eat first, but every member, down to the smallest pup, shares in the bounty, reinforcing the bonds that hold the pack together through the long, lean months. As darkness falls and the cold deepens, the wolves curl together beneath the shelter of ancient pines, their bodies press close for warmth, breath mingling in the silent air. Above them, the aurora shimmers, green and silent, a fleeting promise of spring. But for now, it is winter's law that rules, and the wolves endure, united by instinct, loyalty, and the unbreakable will to survive. In this world of ice and hunger, it is not the lone wolf, but the strength of the pack that writes the story of life against the odds. Across the golden expanse of the savannah, where the grass whispers secrets to the wind and the sun blazes without mercy, a solitary cheetah crouches low. Her amber eyes lock onto a cluster of impalas, grazing unaware beneath the acacia's sparse shade. Every muscle quivers in anticipation, a coil of pure potential, honed by evolution for this singular moment. The chase is not a matter of brute force but of exquisite timing. The cheetah waits, heart pounding, as the herd drifts closer. She calculates distance, angle, the position of each animal. One young impala strays, just enough. Instinct and strategy merge. She explodes from the grass, a blur of spots and sinew, her acceleration unmatched in the animal kingdom. Within seconds, she reaches full speed, faster than any other land mammal. Her spine flexes like a whip, legs stretching far beyond their length, claws unsheathing for traction. The world narrows to the pounding of her heart and the rhythm of her breath, short and sharp. Dust billows behind her, a fleeting storm on the plain. The impala bolts, zigzagging in desperate evasion. The cheetah's tail whips, balancing every razor-sharp turn. Her lungs burn, her body pushed to its absolute limits. For 30 heartbeats, the chase is everything. A contest of survival measured in fractions of a second. At the critical moment, the cheetah closes the gap. With a final surge, she stretches forward, tripping her quarry in a cloud of dust. The struggle is brief, the hunt successful. Yet victory is bittersweet. The cheetah must rest, chest heaving, before she can claim her prize. Other predators, hyenas, lions, lurk, ready to steal the hard-won meal if she lingers too long. As the sun dips lower, the cheetah drags her catch into the shade, eyes ever watchful. In the savannah's endless cycle of hunger and pursuit, speed alone is not enough. Cunning, patience, and split-second decisions spell the difference between life and death. For the cheetah, the chase is both art and necessity, a fleeting burst of brilliance in a world where every heartbeat counts. High above the rugged mountain peaks, where the air thins and clouds drift like ancient ghosts, a golden eagle commands the sky. Her wings stretch wide, nearly 8 feet of silent authority, casting a fleeting shadow over crags dusted with frost. In this realm, wind is both adversary and ally, swirling unpredictably through narrow gullies and over sheer cliffs. The eagle rides these invisible currents, adjusting each feather with surgical precision, her eyes scanning the stony slopes far below. Her vision is unmatched, 8 times sharper than the keenest human gaze. She spots her quarry, a mountain hare, blending perfectly with the mottled grey of the scree. The hare moves cautiously, pausing to sniff the wind, ever wary of threats from above. But the eagle is patient, circling high, waiting for the perfect moment when the prey strays too far from cover. Suddenly the wind kicks up, rattling loose stones and testing the eagle's resolve. She tucks her wings, folding the air around her, and plunges in a controlled, blistering dive, over 150 miles per hour, her body streamlined for precision. The world narrows to a single, trembling heartbeat as she closes in. The hare senses the shadow, bolts for the nearest rock, but the eagle's talons, curved and lethal, extend like the grasp of fate. She strikes with calculated force, pinning the hare in a flurry of snow and dust. Her grip is unyielding, enough to pierce bone, honed by countless generations of survival in this unforgiving domain. Yet victory is never simple in the high mountains. Ravens gather, their dark forms circling, hoping to steal scraps. The wind howls, threatening to unbalance hunter and prey alike. The eagle braces, mantling her wings over her catch, asserting dominance in a world where only the most adaptable survive. In these lofty heights, success is measured not just in strength or speed, but in mastery of the elements, a dance of instinct, patience, and raw power. The golden eagle, sovereign of the peaks, reminds us that survival in the wild is a story written anew with every hunt, every challenge, every silent descent from the sky. Deep within the emerald labyrinth of the rainforest, where sunlight splinters through tangled canopies and the air hums with unseen life, the jaguar moves like a living shadow. His coat is a tapestry of rosettes, each spot a perfect echo of dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves, rendering him nearly invisible among the moss-laden trunks and sprawling vines. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of rain and decaying leaves. Every footfall is measured, silent, a masterclass in patience and precision. He glides between buttress roots and ferns, whiskers twitching, muscles rippling beneath his golden pelt. The jaguar's world is a symphony of whispers, the distant call of a howler monkey, the soft clatter of a beetle's shell, the flutter of a startled bird. But his attention is fixed on one sound, a faint rhythmic scuffle in the undergrowth ahead. A capybara family grazes by a narrow creek, oblivious to the danger concealed by the dense foliage. The jaguar crouches, nostrils flaring, reading the wind. Every sense is heightened. The cool dampness of the earth, the tremor of movement through the vines, the subtle shift in the capybara's posture. He waits, muscles coiled, blending seamlessly into the gloom. Minutes stretch into eternity. A sudden hush falls. The capybaras freeze, sensing a presence. But the jaguar remains utterly still, a ghost among giants, heart thundering in perfect time with the forest's pulse. Then, with a fluid burst of motion, he springs. His leap is silent, explosive, closing the distance in a heartbeat. Powerful jaws clamp around the neck of his chosen prey, ending the struggle with merciful swiftness. The forest erupts. Startled birds take flight. Monkeys shriek in alarm. But the jaguar wastes no motion, dragging his prize beneath the tangled roots, away from prying eyes and scavengers. Here, in the cathedral's green twilight, he feasts in solitude, every sense attuned to threats and opportunities alike. In the realm where sunlight rarely touches the ground, the jaguar reigns not by brute force, but by mastery of silence and shadow. His story is one of patience, precision, and the relentless artistry of survival, a whisper in the endless green where only the unseen endure. Far from the emerald embrace of the rainforest at the world's frozen crown, a stark expanse of white stretches to the horizon, vast, unbroken, and perilously thin. Here, beneath a sky painted in shifting hues of blue and grey, the polar bear treads his ancient path. His fur, blindingly white against the fractured ice, hides a body honed by hunger and solitude. Each massive paw spreads wide, distributing his weight with deliberate care, feeling for the subtle tremors of ice, too weak to hold his bulk. The wind is sharp, laden with salt and the promise of coming storms. It carries the distant groans and cracks of shifting flows, a language the bear has learned to read like a map. He pauses, nostrils flaring, drawing in the scent of a distant seal's breathing hole. His world is ruled by patience, hours, sometimes days spent in perfect stillness, waiting for a single exhale of air through the smallest opening in the ice. Hunger gnaws, a constant companion. The bear's ribs press against his thick coat. His energy is currency to be spent with care. The sea ice, once a highway, is now a maze of widening leads and treacherous gaps. He swims when he must, limbs churning through frigid water, breath steaming in the polar air. Each crossing is a gamble, the distance between safe harbours growing year by year. A lone ivory gull wheels overhead, shadowing his progress. Beneath the ice, a ringed seal basks in its hidden chamber, every sense alert to the faintest vibration above. The bear's patience is legendary, but the ice is thinning, the waits growing longer, the successes fewer. When the moment comes, he strikes with the force and precision of a creature born to this frozen world, claws slicing through snow, jaws clamping down in a burst of primal energy. Victory is fleeting. The bear drags his prize onto the ice, feeding with quiet urgency, every bite a buffer against the cold and the hunger to come. Around him the landscape shifts and groans, a world in constant motion, demanding adaptation at every turn. In this realm of stark beauty and relentless challenge, the polar bear's journey is a testament to resilience. He is both hunter and wanderer, a solitary monarch of a realm dissolving beneath his feet. His struggle echoes across the ice, a silent plea for survival, written in paw prints that vanish with the thaw. Beneath the searing sun of Indonesia's Lesser Sunda Islands, a different kind of predator lies in wait. The Komodo dragon, armored in ancient scales and cloaked in the dust of its volcanic home, is a master of patience and precision. Its tongue flickers, sampling the breeze for the scent of opportunity, a wounded deer, a careless boar, or the faint trace of carrion drifting through the dry underbrush. Motionless, the dragon blends seamlessly with the parched earth and scattered stones. Its eyes, sharp and unblinking, track every ripple of movement in the sparse grass. Time flows differently here. Minutes stretch into hours as the dragon remains perfectly still, a living shadow beneath the dappled shade of acacia trees. A young Timor deer, unaware of the lurking danger, steps closer, drawn by a patch of tender shoots. The dragon's muscles tense, but it waits, calculating distance and wind. The ambush is a test of discipline. Every detail matters, the angle of approach, the moment the prey's attention falters, the split second when its back is turned. Then, with explosive force, the Komodo dragon surges from its cover. Its limbs, thick and powerful, propel it forward in a blur of motion. Dust erupts beneath clawed feet as the predator charges, jaws agape, serrated teeth gleaming. The deer bolts, but the dragon is relentless. Using its massive tail for balance, it closes the gap with surprising speed. A single, devastating bite lands, delivering venom-laced saliva and deep wounds. But the hunt is not always a contest of speed. The Komodo's true weapon is patience. If the prey escapes, the dragon tracks it, following invisible trails of blood and scent across the island's rugged slopes. Days may pass as the weakened animal succumbs, and when it falls, the dragon is never far behind. With deliberate care, the Komodo dragon consumes its prize, bone, flesh, and hide, wasting nothing. Smaller dragons gather, wary but respectful of the largest's claim. In this harsh landscape, every meal is hard-won, every victory the result of ancient instincts honed by scarcity and survival. Here in the sun-baked wilds, the Komodo dragon's ambush is a lesson in patience, power, and the silent artistry of the hunt. It is a living relic, a reminder that in nature the greatest threats are often the ones you never see coming.